Today in the Book Lab, we're going to be taking a look at a custom Ronin from Endgame. So as you may or may not already know, we are not getting an official Ronin minifigure in the Avengers Endgame sets. And if you don't know, Ronin was Hawkeye's alter ego in the events between Civil War and Avengers Endgame. But since this is LEGO, we can just go ahead and make our own. So this Ronin minifigure uses a bunch of minifigure parts from across several different minifigure ranges. So first up, we have the black hood, which is actually a pretty common piece. And then a little bit more exclusive, we have the torso and legs, which are only used on the Rinsler minifigure from the Tron Legacy set and the LEGO Ideas line. Next up is the black utility belt, which is featured in the Inferno Squad battle pack from Star Wars. It's not strictly necessary, I guess, but it really adds to the mercenary look of the character, and I think it just looks absolutely fantastic. Plus, it's a black utility belt. What's not to love? Next up are the silver swords, which are actually just basic ninja katana. If you have any Ninjago sets from the past few years, you definitely have a ton of these floating around. So last up is the head, and the head is actually not an official LEGO product. It's a custom print from Firestar Toys, which means that it is a LEGO part. It's just a LEGO part that they added printing to. And normally I do not use custom printed parts because I prefer to stick to actual official LEGO stuff, but I will admit in this case, this thing is pretty fantastic. Now, if you are a purist and a stickler for that sort of thing, you can always just substitute it. For this head, which comes from one of the foot soldiers from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie set, it's not as cool looking, but it gets the job done, and it kind of gives him a much grimmer look, which may be the look you're going for. Now, if you don't have the torso and legs, or you just want to vary that up, we do have a couple different options for you. So first up, you can just switch the Tron body for this body, which is from one of the Inferno Troopers. It looks pretty cool and very mercenary in and of itself. It's probably my second favorite, and so there's that look. Now, if you don't have the battle pack, and next up we have this version, which is made using one of the Woo Crew suits. I just added in black hands instead of the yellow ones. It does look pretty cool. The only problem is, of course, the tool belt really doesn't look good with this suit because these are mostly robes and the utility belt just doesn't look as cool with it. Oh, and while we're on the topic, if you don't want to use the foot soldier head, what you could do is always just swap it out for this head from the Samurai X minifigure. It actually looks pretty cool, and the gold and the darker colors do go well with the robes. Of course, there is some dark blue on it, which doesn't mesh entirely, but as far as I'm concerned, it still looks pretty cool. Lastly, and this is my least favorite design of the three, I'd recommend using some Inferno Squad Trooper legs with the black utility belt and this torso, which is actually a reversed Outrider torso. It's an Outrider torso, but I swapped the arms around to give it a whole different look. Now, normally I don't like to do this with minifigure torsos because the tension of removing the arms does tend to weaken them and loosen them over time, but in this case, since there are literally a gazillion Outrider minifigures out there, I figure it really couldn't do any harm. So this is how it looks like. It's, again, not the best. In fact, I honestly think that the Woo Crew legs might look better on this one since they do have that gold, and they kind of do. Again, the utility belt isn't the best with this, but it works, I think. So there's that one. Of course, there are a whole bunch of other combinations. You could pretty much any Cole design from the LEGO Ninjago minifigures would work pretty well since he has a lot of black in his designs. Those would look pretty cool, and of course, well, honestly, I'm sure you could probably think of a lot more options than I can. And one other thing real quick, the reason why I didn't bother using this scabbard piece was that it really doesn't work very well with the minifigure. First of all, it doesn't go well with the utility belt. It's pretty much one or the other with that, and I'd really prefer the utility belt. Plus, if you use it with the hood piece, you can put the swords in, but if you put the hood on, you are not taking them out. Or at least not without pulling off the hood, and that's going to be a pain every time you want to take the swords out. Anyway, that about wraps up our look at our custom Ronin minifigure here. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, and do all that other good stuff. And of course, links to the social media profiles are in the description if you want more of my nonsense. And, well, that about does it for this week, so I'll be seeing you guys around. And of course, we do have a couple more videos on the way. They're just going to take a little time because I'm a bit busy at the moment. But I will see you then.